Hey guys, welcome back to the Laker family, where we're going to be getting into what happened last night between the Lakers and the Toronto Raptors. I want to say it was a disappointing game, but not surprising, not totally surprising to me. And I'm going to explain why. If y'all watched my previous videos, I've told y'all the concerns that I had, and I felt like we're going to eventually bite us in the you know what, and it did last night, big time. The bench primarily has still yet to get it together. That was one of the things that I constantly preached on. Um, Guys just aren't producing to not even an average enough level to compete with other teams' benches. Um, and I don't know what it is. We got to do something. I don't know, something to mix it up. We need to get Norvell, somebody in there to start taking these guys minutes to give them a kind of wake up call. Like, buddy, your minutes here and your playing time is not guaranteed. If you keep this mess, this nonsense up like this. You can put a APB out for KCP still. I just don't know what's wrong with KCP. I've seen KCP go up and down over the the last year, couple of years that we've had him here on this team, but I have never seen a stretch where KCP has played this poorly. It's beyond trash, like beyond G League type of trash that we're getting from KCP. And it's just all in his head at this point. You can tell. The turnovers still seems to be a thing. That was something I was stressed about. And I know some of you guys, were saying, man, you kind of nitpicking, Terry, about this and this and that. We're still winning, blah, 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 blah. But like I said, I don't always just talk about the sunshine type of things about our team. I'm not one of those guys. I don't always just think that the sky is always blue and the sun is always out, because the negative things that I was speaking upon were things I knew were going to come back and haunt us if we didn't take care of it, and it is. Now, granted, the Toronto Raptors were without Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka, so this definitely felt like one of those trap games where if you relaxed, you can get beat. This used to happen with Luke Walton all the time. I'm not putting this loss on Frank Vogel whatsoever, because at the end of the day, the players has to perform. And, he can only do so much. The coach can only do so much. Call the right plays, call the right substitutions. Other than that, the players have to produce. So we can't just always go try to blame the coach. The players you have to put some onus on the players at some point as well. With that being said, it just felt like one of those games where the stars just aligned for the Raptors to beat us, plain and simple. As bad as our bench play and the turnovers and things of that nature, we still ended up making a little run back in the end, but it was too late to overcome the negatives that I was harping on that we need to correct. You might can pull out here and there a game where you just constantly making mistakes like that Dallas game. We was able to kind of come back and take it overtime and win it. Unfortunately, this game we weren't able to overcome those mistakes and the bench not coming through. We weren't able to overcome it this game. And on top of Toronto's bench, guys you never heard of, I had to go look at some of these players after the game, like, who the hell are these players? Averaging 1 point here, and another player is averaging 2 points here, on the season. But they just happen to bring it together, and you got to give them credit where credit is due. Now, Another thing I want to give credit for Toronto is that they seem to find these guys straight from the deepest parts of the Congo in Africa, the Wakanda type guys. It's like they go about it the opposite of Dallas. You know, Dallas they're known for scouting great European players. The Toronto Raptors are getting this reputation for being able to scout great African players, you know, and they develop them well. They got a good developed team over there. Siakam, nobody heard of Siakam. This guy Boucher, Chris Boucher, I never heard of him. The guy was coming in blocking everything. Jefferson, the guy was knocking down clutch shots. I'm like, you know, guys that you never heard of. But the Lakers are also known for letting no-name players look like freaking all-stars. So it's like you got to take that with a grain of salt too, because we are very, like, we shut down or basically contained their stars, which were Siakam and Van Fleet. Van Fleet is which is an underrated player, in my opinion. But they were contained for the most part of the game. And when they went to the bench, it's like we ended up just letting these no-name players, the G League squad from the Raptors, just come in and just grow a lead on us. That stems from our bench not producing. And I know y'all don't want to hear the doom and gloom parts all the time that I be preaching on, even, you know, when we're winning. But those are my concerns that I'm telling y'all beforehand is what's going to come back to bite us if we don't correct it. Chris Bouchard said something very intriguing to me. And I take what he says with a grain of salt. But I do respect him as an analyst because he's like one of the few that tries his best to speak objectively about NBA teams instead of putting his biased opinion. A lot of NBA analysts like have their own secret favorite team and they push a narrative out against your team. Chris Bouchard to me is not one of those guys. He's just been, you know, kind of wrong lately with his sources. And that's what's kind of been, you know, knocking his credibility down some. But other than that, he does do a good job of being unbiased. But he said something other than on one of his shows about LeBron James. He said he feels like LeBron may be expending way too much energy early on this season, and it may come back to burn him out. And I kind of didn't want to hear it at first, but I think he's right. I think he's actually right on that one. LeBron has been putting up hella monster numbers so far. But we still have to be cognizant of the fact that he's in year 17. Let me put this in a different perspective for y'all. Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm knocking LeBron or bashing him. But just if some of y'all were old enough to remember Muhammad Ali fighting, or if y'all were like a big Muhammad Ali fan and y'all watched a lot of his fights or whatnot, he was the greatest fighter of all time, especially in his prime. But when he started, and you know, nobody could touch him. I'm like one of the quickest, fastest heavyweight fighters we had ever seen. But when he started getting older, and especially after he took that time off or whatever, and he came back into boxing, guys were able to start touching him. They was able to start tapping him like they wasn't able to do before. Doesn't mean that he wasn't still the greatest. Doesn't mean that he wasn't still the man. It's just you were seeing the gap do this. Guys were getting closer and closer. You know, that's why you see guys in the conversation now. Kawhi, is it Giannis? You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. It used to be LeBron, and don't even mention it. Don't. Nobody else is even close. Don't even blink or dream about somebody being close. But because of age, it's going to naturally do this. Doesn't mean that he's not still here. His old age greatness is still a lot better than most of the guys in the league. But guys are able to kind of do this. They're able to start blocking their shot a little bit more here or there. They're more able to keep him in front, contain him a little bit more. Things of that nature. And so with age, LeBron has to get smarter, which he is. He's one of the most high IQ players that we have ever seen in this league. Kobe, Jordan, all of them were high IQ players. They had to readjust once they got older. More fadeaways, more footwork in the post, things of that nature to get, to still be able to get your shot off in different ways. Whereas before, you didn't have to worry about none of that. You didn't have to worry about no footwork. You didn't have to worry about no threes. You didn't have to worry about no mid-range. I'm going to just come down the lane and dunk on you. I'm fast, I'm stronger. It don't matter. But he's still great. Don't get me wrong. It's just guys are able to start, challenging him more at the rim, things of that nature, keeping him in front. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that he's still human. It's still year 17. And a lot of y'all that watched my first video, I know some of y'all were like, I'm being too hard, or might be too critical of LeBron, or I might even be too critical of the trade that went down. And with every trade like that, yeah, we got a great player at the deal, but you already know that you're going to be lacking something. Because you had to give up so much. And now you're seeing where the lack of a ball handler, a playmaking ball handler does. A lot of people bashed Lonzo last year, but you're seeing now how underappreciated a passing point guard is. With all our bench players just turn the ball over. Oh, here you go. Here go the ball. I don't want it. Here go the ball. Quinn Cook. Here go the KCP. Here you go. I don't want it. Even Anthony Davis to a degree. He had a monster game scoring and defensively. But when you start having 5, 6, 7 turnovers, it starts kind of negating what you do to a degree. Because one turnover here, Raptors going down the court, convert that to a 2 or 3 point play. You see what I'm saying? 6 turnovers, that can be accumulated out to what? 15 points or more? So a lack of a playmaker, which we missing Rondo as well, is very underappreciated until you don't have it. The lack of depth as far as youth and capable defenders on his team, which makes that Iguodala situation more important now. I feel like now, because we have shooters, but we don't even have you don't have the playmakers to get your shooters decent amount of shots during the game. They can't get into no type of flow. Then on top of that, half of the shooters that we have, they can't play defense. So it's like you losing on that part. And so we need Rondo, and we need to sign Iguodala. And most importantly, we need to get Kuzma back to 100%. He had a decent game, but it was like not an impactful 50. Like he had 15 points, but it was not an impactful 15 points. The only thing was the 2 clutch threes he hit at the end, but that was it. He played absolutely no defense, combined with not putting no impact on the game. And I'm gonna stick with my word. I'm not holding him as high of accountability yet, because I told y'all before, I'm giving him a couple of games to be to start judging him correctly. Right now, it would be kind of unfair to just hammer him right now, because he still has to get his feet up under him. But the guys, the veterans, y'all are being held accountable. Danny Green, where are you? Some of the Raptors fans and Spurs fans before the season was kind of warning me about Danny Green. Yeah, he's a big time 3-and-D player, but he does have cold stretches. So, Danny Green, we need you to get out that cold stretch. We paid you way too much money. You had that 28-point game against the Clippers, and you kind of tailed off offensively since then. Um, we need you to be more consistent. Your defense is hands down great. I have no problem with your defense, but you're killing us if you're not knocking down open threes. You're making it that much harder on our stars. Um, so I need that effort from y'all to get better. I need y'all to cut down on the turnovers. And LeBron has to kind of pick his spots too. From now on, he still had a triple double, but his scoring, he had no really huge impact scoring on this game. It's like he was struggling to get his shot throughout the whole game. The Raptors had long, lengthy players, but still, LeBron from 2 years ago, that wouldn't have bothered him. So he has to be smart about picking his spots, not gassing himself out too much. I don't know. I hate load management. I hate it. But if it's going to be a point to where he's going to be too gassed and not himself or close to himself come playoff time, then maybe load management is something that we have to start thinking about with LeBron. Maybe on some easier games, some easier nights, maybe against the Hawks or somebody, Memphis, teams of that nature. If LeBron is going to put out the product that he did last night as far as scoring, you don't want to gas him out because as Laker fans, we all know what happened to Kobe when Mike D'Antoni ran him to the ground. That last year we had Dwight and Steve Nash on the team, and D'Antoni just ran Kobe into the ground, and it was like Kobe did whatever he had to do to get us to the playoff spot, but it was at what cost? By the time he didn't even make it to the playoffs. So we don't want to burn LeBron out to that degree. Let's be smart about that. But I think I rambled on enough. It's just one of those losses. I don't want to get too bent out of shape about it because it happens. It happens. The guys just got hot and we got cold. So from now on, let's just get that together. We have somebody coming up. I didn't look at the schedule. Forgive me on that. But I know we play again tomorrow, but we got to get better with what we're doing, guys, especially from the bench. But I most definitely will be coming back to y'all with another recap of that game after that. So I think that's all I have for today, guys. Thank y'all for watching and tuning in. Like always, if y'all want to join the Laker family, just like, share, and subscribe. And see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Hey, I got muscles like Superman trainer. Hey, real rare.